Am I live now? It looks like I'm live now. Hey, Steven, I'm going to go live now. Okay. I had some questions about cleaning and seasoning and restoring cast iron over the last few days. So I wanted to do a quick video. I made breakfast this morning in my cast iron, and then I went off to work. So my cast iron's been sitting on the stove and I haven't cleaned it, so I'm going to clean that up and show you how easily good seasoned cast iron will clean up. So here's my pan that I did potatoes and sausage in this morning. I'm just taking some hot water and a regular sponge. You can see there's not really much of anything on there. Now usually when this is still warm is when I like to go ahead and clean them, but yeah, it didn't happen this morning. Sometimes they sit. So again, just hot water and a sponge. Everything wipes out. Let's get that over there too. Okay. So, there I have a wet, clean cast iron pan. So what I'm going to do, this is real tricky, watch this. Woo! I'll put that on the stove. I'm going to turn it up to about 5. So at 5 it's going to dry out. When it gets dried out, I'm going to take a little stuff with a paper towel once it's all warm and dry and give it a wipe and let it sit up. You can even wipe it with a paper towel now and dry it out some. Anyway, the thing is to get it warm. I want to get it warm. Wow. I'm going to go back to the other view in a moment, Steven. Steven's like, move the camera, we can't see the pan. And it's like, well, I'm going to go back to the sink in a minute. I'm not going to keep playing with it. But thank you for the tip anyway, love. So anyway, this is drying on the warm stove. I've got all the water out of it. I'm going to take a little paper towel, Crisco, and just wipe that in there. Now, what happens is, the warm pan with the Crisco and being drying, that's gonna, as the pan gets hot, that oil is gonna form a layer in there. And it just keeps getting layered, more oil, layered, until you get the nice non-stick surface on it, okay? Now I wanna show you something. Somebody had seen one of my last videos cooking the Blueberry Delight, my grandmother's recipe. And she said, oh, would you like a 12-inch pan? When do I say no to cast iron? It just doesn't happen. I said, yes, of course. She says, it's a little rusty. I said, that's fine. I know how to take care of the rusty. So, and Stephanie, you just bought a pan that might have a little rust on it too. So what I'm gonna do, here's the pan. Okay, see it's a little bit rusty, needs a little love. This pan is interesting. So it's American cookware, which I had not heard of before. It says made in USA. When they're made in the USA, that means they're manufactured after 1960, okay? But American cookware, and there's a picture of a riverboat engraved on the bottom of it, which I'd never seen. So I Googled and Googled and Googled and Googled. And of course, every time you Google American cookware, you get everybody's advertisements for everything all over the place. You do not get who American cookware is. So I asked in one of my cast iron groups, well, on the top here, you may or may not be able to see those letters. It says A, B, and I. A, B, and I is I found it on the internet, Googled it. A, B, and I is a company that makes cast iron piping. Like, cast iron piping? So somebody in my, one of my groups on Facebook says they used to, up until 1980, make cast iron cookware. And then they switched over completely to just doing the cast iron piping. So this pan was made after 1960, but before 1980. And I also found out, this one with the riverboat on it, different size pans had different emblems on the back of it. Another one has a train. A different size has I'm going to say it wrong. Calistoga. You know what I'm saying. Wagon on it. So anyway, back to the point. I'm going to take this, and all you grandmas, grab your garter belts and hold on to your girdles. I'm going to use an SOS pad. Yes, I'm using an SOS pad. And I'm giving it a quick rub on all that rust that got built up. And I'm not going to ruin the pan because I'm going to season it. All you're doing when you use soap in a cast iron, and you can use a little bit of soap, especially if it's the first time you're using it, feel free to clean and scrub that thing. You're going to season it, you're going to use it, you're going to season it again, you're going to keep doing layers. The more layers of seasoning, the more non-stick it gets. I'm so glad this worked out as well as it did, because I would have really looked silly if it didn't clean it. So, how long was I doing that? Not very long at all. Do you see any rust? An SOS pad in a couple minutes. No rust. Okay, we're going to swing back over to the stove here. Now, here's my beauty that's just been sitting. See that surface on there? Isn't that black and pretty on that surface? That's another layer now that's just been developed. So I'm going to take this new pan that I just cleaned. I'm going to put that on the stove. I'm going to wipe out the water. This is warming up real nice. Oh, it's getting hot real nice fast. Okay. And I'm going to take my paper towel and my Crisco. Just a little bit. Now I'm hitting it with that. Look at that. See how pretty that looks? Now I've got this on a medium high right now, kind of more towards medium. Stove goes up low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, high. I've got it on a 5. I'm going to let it sit there for a minute on that 5 because I want that to start forming a layer. So this is the pan I did my eggs in this morning. You can see there's a couple little egg bites left in it. Again, I was in a hurry. So hot water and my sponge. Tell me how many of you do every pot and pan before you leave for work in the morning or for church on a Sunday morning, huh? They sit for a minute sometimes, don't they? Okay. Look at that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to dry it and put it on a hot burner and oil it and leave it on the hot burner for a while. Some people, you'll actually hear, follow me. You'll actually hear some people say they put them on the burner until the burner smokes or until the pan smokes. I'm not doing it that hard. I'm just not. That's just not me. You'll come and find what works for you, your stove, your cast iron. I'm giving you some basics to work with as you go. So, this new pan, it's been there for a bit. I'm going to give it another bit of oil here. And I'm also going to oil the one I just cleaned. Now, something else I want to show you with these. When you clean a cast iron pan and you're oiling it, that's not dirt, that's seasoning. You're going to get some of this back every time you oil your pan. If you've got a pan that you oil and you get back and you got a clean paper towel, you've done it wrong, okay? So both of these, they're looking beautiful, they're all heating up, and I'll do another layer. Funny thing, sometimes God talks to me through my cast iron. Can you believe it? and I was thinking about the whole armor of God. Now, we always talk about putting on the whole armor of God. Nobody ever talks about taking it off, putting it aside. You're just constantly putting it on. So you're putting on layers. Kind of like your seasoning on your cast iron pan. You're putting on layers of seasoning, you're putting on layers of armor. When you've got a well-seasoned pan, things don't stick, they slide off. Maybe if we're layering our armor, a lot of the crap in our lives won't stick to us. It'll slide right off. There's your cast iron thought for the day. Enjoy your pans. Don't be afraid to scrub them if you need to. Just season them again, and season them again, and season them again. Any questions, send me a message or comment. All right. Bye.